Hello and welcome to our overall thoughts and feelings on the Liella girls. I'm Callan.
And I'm HoneyPandaBunny.
And with the announcement that Liella's anime is coming out in July, obviously there's the excitement brewing for these new girls. Now I thought would be a good time to have an opportunity to talk about our overall thoughts and feelings of not only the group, but each of the individual members as well.
So far I'm really looking forward to Liella, to finally have 5 girls where we can be closer and really learn more about their individual journeys, as well as overall as a group. I'm super excited for. Visually, I really love how the characters look. I wasn't so sure to begin with, but the more I'm seeing of them in this art style, the more I'm liking it. And I really feel their personalities shine through these designs.
Yeah, I think Liella offers a really interesting opportunity to draw on the strengths from the previous 3 series, because problems with the past ones is that it was hard to balance story and character. Someone would always feel a little bit underdeveloped, and while Nijikasaki focused mostly on character, that ended up compromising the story a little bit and leaving it a bit bare. So Liella feels definitely like it will be more story driven because there's only 5 characters compared to 9. So in my opinion, that should give them a lot more chance to develop the girls and really flesh each one of them out. Liella is also a fairly recently reopened school, so we won't be relying on the old school closing plotline, which I think is a good change, and I feel that will have been tapped with obviously Muse and Aqua's. They're also all first years, and this is very unprecedented in the franchise. And I'm actually really excited about this because we can really see these girls grow across their entire run. Imagine we see them as second years and then potentially third years down the line. That would be really interesting to see how they mature. It also opens up the opportunities for additional members later as potential new students join the school while they move up in the years. When I saw the girls' initial designs, I was a little bit meh on them. I didn't hate them. They didn't leave that much of an impression on me originally.
Yeah, for me as well, I thought they all looked a little bit strange. Some of them looked like they didn't belong in the Love Live universe. I know that sounds really strange, but there's so many that looked a little bit odd. But actually seeing them being drawn more and put more into situations like the promotional art that we've seen, they really do belong in the universe. I think it was just that first little blip that we get.
When we started seeing them in motion, when their PV came out, it really did elevate my opinion of them, because while they are definitely more in line with the 2 traditional groups, they do have their own flair to them. It's very hard to describe. And I don't want to talk too much about their songs because I want to save that for when they are officially released. In the PV released so far, I do really like their fashion. I think the big overcoats is really cool, and it's probably just for this music video, but I really like the white colour theme. I think it really suits these 5 girls, and I could see it as being a potential signature colour for them going forward.
Yeah, I love this kind of fashion, and I always will. They are very Japanese fashion-esque for me, and I do like that each of them have their own little kind of twist to their outfit. It really does feel like it's added more personality. Instead of it just being different colours for each character, it's different accessories for each character to really put their character to life in these outfits. And I'm not saying that it's missing from other Love Live outfits. It certainly is a nice change in group outfit altogether.
Love Live girls have always been fashionable, from all of the groups starting from the beginning. But something really interesting about Liella is that they are actually based in Harajuku, which is in a way the capital of fashion in Japan. So I actually think that I'm wondering if maybe they'll push even more towards this fashion icon. So I'm really looking forward to seeing what outfits they have in the future.
はじめまして。私、渋谷カノンと言います。
So let's start with the characters individually, and we'll begin with our orange-haired leader, Shibuya Kanon. So following the trend of the past series, she obviously has the makeup of the standard protagonist. She's got the orange hair. Interestingly enough, she does break the mold, because while Honoka and Chika are both very extroverted, they're very out there, Kanon seems to be much more introverted. It seems like she'll be dealing with anxiety if the music video is anything to go off. She's nervous and shy, and we have seen this before with Honyo, but it looks like it will get much more focus here, especially because she'll be the main character.
I really like that she seems really different, like you said, from the previous Love Live girls. She's really shy and nervous, and she feels reserved, but not frustratingly so, which is really, really nice to see. I also like that she's quite courageous, and we do get to see that bubbling out of her in her little intro. She really does believe strongly in music and her love for these things, and she calls herself normal. That's something that's wonderful about her. There's so much room to grow for her, but the thing is, she so deeply loves things that that's what interested me immediately about her.
A lot of the rest of her group take on the more traditional persona personas exhibiting Genki traits. So I actually really like that it's kind of inverted here, where the central character is the more, as you said, normal type of the group. Her family owns a cafe, which fits because Honoka had owned a sweet shop, Chika's family owns a traditional inn, and her grandmother is also Spanish. So Liella is actually quite the multicultural group.
Yeah, I really like that she feels realistic and honest here, and that she has a goal to strive for. I also love that she has her little owl, and it's the mascot of the restaurant.
Maru.
It's so cute, yeah. And I really do actually hope that we get to see more of her family, though I doubt that we're going to see the dad, obviously. But it'd be really interesting to see how this could be involved in the series. I think it'd be really interesting. And obviously she has her obsession with music, and it's a very day-to-day life thing that I think is really interesting. So we're already seeing who's going to have what role I'm seeing for each girl here. We're going to have the music person here with Kanon, and it's really, really nice. And it's great to see that something about Love Live, which is music, is a huge motivator for our main character.
And that's something that differentiates her from Honoka and Chika straight away, is that music is much more integral to her. It's very important. Singing is something that's been a part of her life from the very beginning. Honoka and Chika, they found their love of idols later in life. So if anything, music is even more special to Kanon, which I think presents an opportunity to tell a really good story. The leaders I always tend to like, but they're never usually my favourite. But I actually do really like Kanon's design, and her voice, from the little that we've heard so far, is actually really nice. You can tell that she's not confident, but she's still got that protagonist energy underneath. Her character definitely intrigues me, and I could easily see myself getting attached to her.
皆さん、はじめまして。タン・ククです。
So next, let's talk about Tang Cuckoo, who is our Chinese representation for Liella.
I am so excited for Cuckoo. I can already tell immediately that she's probably going to be my favourite because she seems head over heels with the Harajuku aspect of fashion. I really like how cute and playful she is from her intro. She's super sweet and funny, and she just seems charming in so many ways. It's really interesting to see that she's coming from Shanghai, and I'd be really interested in her nationality coming more into the anime, exploring it instead of it being a joke. I'm kind of exhausted of Love Live girls always having the joke, and I would really like it to be explored for once.
My opinion actually differs just a little bit, but it's not because I dislike Cuckoo, it's more that I'm not fully sure about her character just yet. I need to see a bit more of her, because I must admit I'm not sure on my reading of her. She's a bit of an enigma, because I'm not sure what role she's going to play in the group. Her design reminds me of Yo. Her personality is very similar, being optimistic and fun-loving, and I wonder if she'll be portrayed as a bit of a fish out of the water. Think Ellie's little sister from the original series, since, as you said, she was raised in Shanghai. She came to Japan, which is where her mother was born, and I wonder if there'll be a bit of story there. Maybe her mum will be involved in some way.
I really like that she loves Neapolitan spaghetti, because it's obviously one of our favourite foods, which is really nice. And I can't help but imagine she must be so stressed from moving in and still being in boxes. I would really like to see her journey of being accustomed and kind of coming to Japan, and her still, finding her place here, like you stated. And I love that she's interested in J-fashion, obviously. And I really hope that they explore that style and open up all the kind of subgenres. And I do see her being maybe the fashion person for Liella. Like I said, they all feel like they've got these roles, and I can really see her taking the role of designing the costumes or making the costumes.
As someone who is learning Japanese myself, it's actually really interesting that you can hear in Cuckoo's voice that it may be hard to tell if you don't know Japanese, but her Japanese is actually fairly basic, and it makes sense as she's someone who was raised in Shanghai. She came to Japan. She can obviously speak it, but it's not something that it's her native tongue. I wasn't a massive fan of her voice when I first heard her introduction. I thought it was just a little bit harsh on my ears. However, I think her singing voice is actually really nice. It's very smooth, and I can tell the voice actress is actually very talented already. And it's hard to say from the little we get so far, but she maybe has my favourite singing voice so far. Also, in the PV, I really like her bear headphones. They're very cute.
はじめまして。ウィッスウィッスウィッス。嵐千里です。
Now we'll give our opinions on Arashi Chisato, the best friend character. So she's similar to Kotori and Umi. Design-wise though, she is easily my favourite. I really love her white hair and her red eyes, and I overall think that's an interesting combo. We've never seen white hair in Love Live, so straight away it's just a unique thing about her that differentiates her from every other character so far. She looks nothing like any other character in the series, which is another big thumbs up for me. I really like the buns. Also, she likes takoyaki. I love takoyaki, and it's even her icon. on, so for me it's a match made in heaven.
I love that they're finally going with a more dance-oriented character here. We've had Eri, obviously, which is really nice, but she was more ballet, more softer, more elegant, whereas here I can really imagine them doing a bit more of street dance with Chisato here, which would be really, really interesting to see. So we're already seeing perhaps she's going to be the choreographer for the group. I really like her design, and I did feel like she was really out of place in the first promo images that we saw of her, but as the animation went on and we got to see the PV, she looks amazing, and she's definitely already my second favourite, design-wise overall. I love it. She really seems really sweet, but also she seems almost nervous about her role of being within this idol group, something that she's not certain of. She's not certain that she's going to make a good idol. She's confident with the dance, but perhaps not the singing. And I think that's really interesting as well, and I'd love to be able to see that be explored.
Yeah, I agree with you that she's probably going to be the dance choreographer because she loves dance. That she seems very ambitious is that she wants to establish her own dance club, and this reminded me of Yo, who wants to be a ship captain, and supposedly she's scary when she gets mad, but she doesn't think so. So that could be played off a comedy like Umi. And I just noticed that when I was describing it, that she's almost like an amalgamation of all the best friend characters that came before. She's another cheerful and energetic type, and it's interesting that she works in a part-time job. I wonder if that will have some role in the anime, similar to Kotori's maid job. And I would really love a song about takoyaki. I think that would be like a great, that'd be a perfect song if she ever got solo. Her voice, her speaking and singing voice, in my opinion, are very pleasant on the ears. Again, it's hard to say with what little we've got, but so far it's a big thumbs up for me, and she's easily my running for my potential best girl.
名前はもちろん皆さん知っていると思いますけど、ヘアンナスミレ。
So now let's talk about Heanna Sumire, who is probably going to be the most popular character. She gives off that Nico, Yoshiko and Kasumi energy. I also noted a little bit of Mari here as well because of the galaxy and also because of her showmanship. She's a character that's either going to be really loved or hated, I think, and there's a good chance that she does become the fan favourite. She does seem to be a bit of an Ojo-sama, which offers tons of funny opportunities.
Yeah, she's so very Ojo. I love that about her already, but she has this almost elegant, chuny aesthetic to her. I love how gung-ho she is, and she feels very energetic, and she seems very larger than life when it comes to being a school idol, and the universe just won't suffice for her. She needs bigger and better, and I'm really excited to see this. She doesn't come across big-headed, but she comes across a huge amount of energy from her. She would take over a room, I can imagine.
So something I noticed about Sumire is in her biography, and even in the music video, she actually gets a lot of screen time, with a lot of focus on her childhood. She lives in a shrine, and she streams online, similar to Yoshiko, which I think will make her very popular with modern audience. She seems to be steeped in the entertainment business with her interests, and obviously, as you said, wanting to be a school idol across the galaxy. And from the music video as well, there does seem to be a hint of an inferiority complex, because she seems to be, as a child, part of a contest, and she's the girl that doesn't get chosen, and we see it with her crestfallen reaction to not getting chosen. So there's a lot of room for her to develop, I think. With all this information and hinting, especially in the music video, it's almost like she's the second main character after Kanon. Her singing voice is very cutesy and strong. Her voice will be down to personal preference, I feel. Similar to Nico or Kasumi, you'll find her either very lovable and cute, or perhaps not be able to stand her. Similar to Cuckoo, I'm not fully decided on Sumire. I like what I see so far, but I'm not fully seeing the character just yet despite all this. My opinion will probably change the most when we do finally get to the anime.
I like that from the way she speaks, I could really easily see her being the lyricist of the group, but also I really feel like they could go more into the branding aesthetic here, and she could really be the one to do the advertising for them, which I feel is quite lacking in the other Love Lives. It's something I never really understood. With Yoshiko, she had her streaming, and she seemed really popular, but she never really promoted Aquas through that, which seemed really odd to me, considering Aquas is such a huge part of her life. So it'd be really interesting to see if they will go down the more business and streaming route here, as well as the online involvement of the idols for a change. We got to see a little bit of in Nijigasaki, but I'd really love to see it go more in detail here, especially because we have more time to, with it only being 5 characters this time.
はじめまして、葉月蓮と申します。
And last but not least, the Student Council President, Hazuki Ren.
She seems so mature and really informative. She feels almost like a librarian, and I really love that about her. She's the true Ojo-sama. If we had the fake one with Sumire, we have it the true one here with Ren. She feels so easily talked to, but she also feels like a very proud person, which I love, but not overly so. She seems like she'd be very, very helpful and really dependable in the situations that they could get into. She's mature, and and I really do feel like she'd be the mum of the group here. She's confident, but also has absolute clarity, and I love that about her. She knows her skills and she's not snobbish about it. She believes the amount of pride in her school and with her mum's work. She really stands tall, and I like that about her character, and I especially like that about her. Overall, she just seems like a really good girl.
So I must admit, Ren's design didn't catch my eye originally, and her biography, when I read it, didn't interest me as much. She feels like the most throwback to earlier iterations of Love Live's archetypes, notably Ellie and Dia. Now, Dia is one of my favourites from Aqua's, so I'm not opposed to it, but I do wish there was a little bit more. I suppose with 3 of the other 4 girls being very ginky and out there, we needed someone more grounded to counteract them. And it could be fun seeing the serious Ren trying to manage this gaggle of crazy girls to hilarious effect. And interestingly enough, her mother did found Yuigaoka, which is their school, so she feels personally responsible for it. So she has a much more personal connection to the school compared to her predecessors. So I think there's definitely some potential storylines down there. Dia had a more comedic side to her, which helped balance her more traditional Japanese persona. So hopefully there'll be a little bit more to Ren.
Something I liked about her design is, even when you look at Ren's design, she seems very calming and very open. And like, you could just talk to her and she would be very honest and open about the things that she could talk to. And I think that's what works really well about her design. She looks mature, she looks calming, and that's why I get such a mum vibe from her, along with her personality, obviously.
I will say as well that her voice is very different to how I thought she would sound, but it fits her quite well. I was surprised to see her leading the song in the PV, but her voice is very unique. It's very elegant, but it's got this slight rough edge to it that I actually really appreciate. I can't describe it, but I actually really enjoy it. She's probably got my favourite singing voice along with Cuckoo so far. Of course, again, this is based off the little we've heard so far. Once we get to the anime and see her interacting with the rest of the cast, I'll warm up to her very quickly. So overall, an interesting bunch. I do see a lot of potential with these 5. I noticed that in the song, there isn't really any high-pitched voices, which I'm sure a lot of people will be happy about. I personally don't mind the high-pitched voiced characters from previous series, but this does give a much more harmony with similar sounding voices.
Yeah, overall, I really love their voices. And it was something that I wasn't expecting with them, with these lower voices. I personally didn't want to talk about the individual songs or their individual voices throughout this, because I can't really talk on it, and I don't want to until I've heard the full song. Together, I find that their voices are really nice, they're lower, and they don't have that stereotypical pitch of usually one character having a higher one, which is fine, but it is really nice and fresh and harmonising here, as you put it. I love their outfits, and I love that they're so big and puffy, and they're like typical floaty outfits. I really like that they were big puffy outfits instead. I love that each of them had something unique. For example, Keke had her bows for her Harajuku aesthetic love, and the stage actually felt really reminiscent of the first Muse song that we get to see. It was really nice to have an almost throwback and that nostalgia for it, but also have a fresh new paint with Liella and get to see something new along with it, and that was something that I really liked about it, and I can't help but be so excited for their singles and their anime in July.
The stage did look very traditional Love Live, which I do appreciate. Again, I really love the fashion in the music video, so it's something that going forward I'm very eager to see how the Liella girls with their fashion. So I think overall, out of all of the 5 girls, my personal favourite is Chisato so far, but again, that could easily change as more songs get released, and when we could draw closer to the anime, when we get to the anime, I may fall in love with a different girl.
Yeah, overall my favourite is Cuckoo so far. I love her voice, I love everything about her so far, but again, like you said, it could change, who knows.
To anyone listening, who is your favourite Liella girl? I'd be interested to know who's your favourite and why you love her. When Liella was first announced, I was a little bit hesitant because I got very attached to Nijigasaki, and I saw this as them cutting the legs out from underneath the Nijigasaki girls. But I did find that I quickly warmed to them the more that they showed of them. And it's very early days to say that there'll be a new favourite, but the pieces are there to have a very strong debut, I feel. It feels like they're really accelerating the pace with Liella, so I hope they don't rush it. And with that being said, I'm really excited for the anime, and I'm interested to see what stories they will go.
Yeah, I was also a little bit worried about it as well. I didn't really warm up to Liella until I saw the music video. I thought their intros were cool, but I really wanted to see more of them in motion, and I think that's always what makes me fall in love with the girls a lot more. It was like with Nijigasaki, when Nijigasaki first happened, I was also a bit hesitant of them too, but eventually I came to love them the most out of potentially all of the older groups, so I'm sure I'll also come to love Liella in a completely new way.
I think something that helps for me as well is watching the broadcasts with the new girls who are all very young, who are stepping into this role for the first time, it's clear that they all have a lot of love for the franchise, and that's something that always helps as well, is that they feel very passionate about the franchise. In my opinion, that shows that Liella, this is in good hands. You can tell from the way they react is that they're very into this.
Yeah, I'm really excited to see the seiyus and how they're going to react around it as well. They already seem to love these characters so earnestly, and that usually makes me love them too. I always like seeing the voice actors almost falling in love with their characters and feeling so much love for these characters, because we also feel that too. So it really feels like there's a connection there, and it was something that it's always really nice.
It's always nice to see it's the other way as well, as not only do they embrace the fans, but it's very easy to see online that fans have very quickly embraced them as part of the Love Live family. So thank you very much for listening on our thoughts and feelings on the Liella girls. It's very early days, but it was interesting to talk about them.
Thank you very much.
Until next time.
Bye bye.